Hello and welcome to episode 19 of the FUTBIN podcast. My name is Richard Buckley and it is an absolute pleasure to be once again joined by the assistant manager, the gaffer, when I'm not around, Mr. Matt Foot Training. Welcome back. How's the week been?
It's been a good week. We don't talk about champs. It was a shocking weekend. I don't know why. I just went a bit of a capitulation. Rich, it wasn't too good, but we have a guest here. I imagine probably getting slightly more wins in champs than
we do. We do have a very, very special guest, a former FUT Cup champion, a 2v2 champion as well, which I saw with my very own eyes in London. He is a content creator, streamer, YouTuber, and I have to say, one of the nicest people I have met during my 8 years of being involved in competitive FIFA, now FC. He is the one and only Oilito. Thank you for joining us on the FUTBIN podcast this week.
First of all, thank you so much for that nice intro. It was super nice to hear. I'm very, very happy to be here talking some FC. You know, it's exciting times. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. What we've got coming up for you on this week's episode, we're going to be looking at Ollie's team and Ollie's tactics and taking a deeper dive into what makes him one of the best players. We're going to be looking at the brand new promo Unbreakables and the reveal of the Classic 11 heroes that we all got. That was a nice surprise coming out. We're going to be addressing upcoming winter wildcards previews and expectations, and also asking a big question: are packs changing? Yes, that's going to be coming up. A very, very important question with the brand new pack that came out just over the last weekend, where you got to pick your own player. Before we get into all of that, if you think you're as good as Ollie at FC, get yourself involved in this. This winter, FUTBIN and PlayStation tournaments will let you turn your skills into real rewards. The FUTBIN Winter Challenge runs from the 15th of December to the 4th of January and is open to everyone. You can qualify through our hourly open PlayStation qualifiers. This is accessed through your PS5, going through the tournament's hub. If you win, you can take home 1,050 FC points and qualify through to the close finals. Second place takes home 100 FC points and also a 1-month subscription of FUTBIN ad-free. Make it to the finals and the prizes go huge. If you finish in first place, you will win a PS5 Pro, €500 cash, lots of FUTBIN swag, and a year's supply of FUTBIN ad-free. Second place takes home a DualSense Edge controller, €250 cash, lots of FUTBIN swag, and again, a year's supply of FUTBIN ad-free. And if you're ready for all this, make sure you lock in and secure your spot. Well, if you are going to be playing, very best of luck, but let's get back on with the episode. Ollie, as always, when we have a brand new guest on the pod, we look at their team and we review their squad, and you are no different, my friend. This is the team that you're running with. It might be the best team we've seen so far. Obviously, a couple of EVOs in there that you told me through before we started. But I mean, let's just kick off with. I'll give you the reins. Talk us through it from goalkeeper to striker.
I think obviously Mamardashvili, I think most of the players started to use him very, very early in the game. Obviously now after the patch switched where you can't really move the goalkeeper anymore, I decided to do an Evo on him that gets him far reach, because I think far reach is the best play style for goalkeepers in terms of defending these finesse shots outside, but also inside the box. So yeah, there is an Evo on that Mamardashvili that manages to get him far reach, and I think overall he is like a very, very solid keeper, very, very tall, which I think is quite important. Fullbacks, the new Thunderstruck Dalot, I think is very, very good. I think you will see him quite a lot in pro play these upcoming weeks. Got a very, very good card. Same thing with Theo Hernandez, obviously Evo, managed to put intercept gold on him, which I think is the best defensive playstyle for defenders this year. So I think Theo is also quite common. I would say it's either him or Carreras in form from Real Madrid. That's the two best left backs in the game at the moment. Jumping into center backs then, this is a bit of like a questionable one, I guess, because Ibanez, obviously Evo, very, very good Evo as well. Managers have all defensive play styles, which I think is very good, and anticipate goal as well on the Evo that I put on him. And then I actually decided to go with Murillo. And that was after we actually saw the Euro final this past weekend, where both Anders and Emre, I believe, used him in the final. And I can say it's mainly because of that intercept plus again. I think, as I said, it's just by far the best defensive playstyle in the game, and can definitely help you from conceding a few goals by having that intercept goal, especially on the center backs. I think is by far the best playstyle. And then going into like the expensive part of the squad, of course, as you said. First of all, I have Scream Dembele on the right. Obviously, he is way better than the goal, mainly because he can play right midfielder as well. I believe the goal can only play right wing, if I'm not mistaken. Also, 5-star, 5-star. The best playstyle in the game now in terms of attackers is finesse as well. So he manages to have that. Can go with both feet and is just very, very quick and behind as well for these through balls. So very, very good player. Left mid, I think we have the second best gold card on the game. Obviously, Claudia Pina's gold card, I mean, is by far the best, I guess. But Mbappe, I mean, he's doing the job always, I think. Always very solid, always very quick. 5-star skills, very, very good finishing as well inside the box. So he's been with me since the start of the game, really. And then introducing to two new Joga Bonito items. Managed to try out both Vitinha and De Jong, and I think De Jong for me is a bit more of a defensive kind of midfielder, even though he can go forward. I think he offers that kind of variety of actually being more of like a ish box-to-box player. And then with Vitinha, I would say he's a bit more of an attacking midfielder, even though he can also defend. So I think these two midfielders, I mean, complement each other really well. The good thing with Vitinha is that he also manages to have finesse shot in white, so he can actually score chances as well. And then obviously my favorite player in this year's game is actually going to be Zico. He's also been with me since the start. I think a lot of pro players been playing Bonmati, but I think Zico is just offering something else in terms of obviously finesse shot goal. Once again, 5-star, 5-star. I mean, he has everything. I think the thing that I could imagine people go with Bonmati over him is basically the price, of course, first, but also that Bonmati is a bit better in defense as well. If you look at those defensive stats, and then going to the striker, I mean, Claudia Pina by far the best player in this year's game. So. Yeah.
I want to ask you about Zico because he's one of those players that I think he was involved last year. I think he got introduced last year into the game. Mm-hmm. And we saw him used, but we didn't see him used that much. But this year, even before the finesse shot plus patch, he was one of the most used icons in the team.
Yeah.
Is that because of the combination of price? He's not R9 or Pele. He's not a 7-8 million coin player. He's sort of in that sweet spot where he is somewhat affordable if you are playing competitively or if you're putting on a lot of points and you're getting a lot of coins. But also he is, for the actual play you're getting, incredibly good. Like, why do you think he is that player this year? Because usually we've had, I mean, Hullet in past years or Vieira or these icons, Mia Hamm last year and the year before, were just standout icons that had to be in the team. Zico feels like that this year. Why do you think that is?
I think first of all, like us pros, we play with these kind of like restrictions. So we can't have any players above or any players that are 92 rated or above. And then Zico obviously fits these requirements very, very well. And then if we look into his playstyles, I think he has all the best playstyles that you can basically have on a card. And I think if we deep dive a bit more into it, the playstyles is basically the main thing this year. That's what actually going to like separate icons from each other. And if we look at passing playstyles, he has Incisive and Tiki Taka, which I think is the two best playstyles this year for passing. Especially passing with a cam as well is like probably the most important, I would say, to be able to try to find the wingers from that cam position or even try to play the striker through. And then also, as I said, like the finishing playstyle, Financial Plus doesn't go unnoticed. I mean, I think, especially now, as I said before, after the patch, I think it's by far the best finishing playstyle in like this year's game. So,
it's quite funny, Matt, isn't it? Really, but people often complain and say the hardest thing this game is defending, and this is a pro player's defense. So it's probably worth 500k.
Yeah, I was just thinking that actually. Yeah, we always see like the attacking icons, but we never really see, like Rio Ferdinand or obviously Maldini for restrictions would be tricky to get in. But yeah, I'm certainly noticing a lot more in my own gameplay. That sort of centre back partnership, you can't really lock it down as much as you would in maybe previous years for different teams. Obviously, Slightly different story when you go further up the pitch and you see Claudia Pina in there.
There's about 11 million coins worth of players here. Maybe even more. There's about 450k worth of defense and 10,800,000 worth of attackers. Very quick comment, Ollie, because me and Matt last week spoke a lot about Player of the Month Pina. Is it worth the upgrade on the promo item that she got? Obviously, the big playstyle plus difference from finesse to low driven. Had the patch not happened and goalkeeper movement had been changed, would you have stuck with the promo item, or would you have gone to the Player of the Month?
I think it's a very, very good question. I don't think personally they really switched up the finesse shot. I thought it was actually very, very good before the patch as well. The only thing you could do was obviously move the keeper and actually like prevent it from going in. And I think I've been using finesse shots quite a lot all year. I've never been like that type of guy that's using like a lot of low drivens and stuff. So I would have probably completed Pina, but then I would also see a world where a lot of people would probably stick with the cornerstones as well, because the cornerstone obviously has low driven gold and finesse shot in white. So you still have that kind of finesse shot, but I still feel like quite a big difference between the finesse shot gold and the finesse shot white. So yeah.
Let's jump very quickly into the tactics. I don't think there's going to be anything that's too sort of different here. The main question I've got, we had a couple of very high level players on the pod throughout our history of the FUTBIN podcast, and just watching pro players play. Some go balanced on fullbacks, some go defend on fullbacks. What's your sort of take on it?
I mean, I think it's a very, very good question. I don't really feel a big difference, to be honest. Sometimes, or most of the times, I play balanced because I think when you really want to break down these top tier pros that I usually play against in the ladder or in these tournaments, whatever, I think you need to attack with the fullbacks as well. So I really want to have them a bit more higher up the pitch to be able to actually just use them as kind of like a bounce back player. If I go, high up, I can just bounce back to the fullbacks and then try to restart the attack or even send them on a run to be able to like create space. So for me, I've always played fullback balanced, and I think it's a tiny bit better than the defend, but I also understand people that also go with like defend.
Any questions, Matt, on the tactics before we move on?
No, I think it looks, I can understand why everything's the way it is. Vitinha, box to box, without the roll. Do you notice anything there? Or
that was
a consideration.
Yeah, I think that's a really good question, because he also has a deep line playmaker plus. But I decided to try him out of box to box, and I think his movement is a bit more attacking, which I really wanted on that left-hand side. So that's basically why. I mean, I don't really feel a big difference between like the plus rolls and stuff, but I still think you need one box to box to be able to have that kind of like attacking threat. And obviously Vitinha is going to be my attacking center mid because he also has finesse in white. So yeah.
Well, there you go. I'm sure you might not be able to replicate Ollie's playstyle and how good he is at the game, but if you want to have a go at it, you can see the tactics code on the screen there. Jump on over, copy it in, see what you can do, and let us know if any of these players make it into your team. I imagine most of them do, but let us know on that tactic down below. Thank you very much, Ollie. Let's move on to the new promo, Matt, because it was one of those that sort of we knew was coming. We didn't really know what it was, but I actually think first impressions were, as a quote-unquote gap-fill promo, it's actually quite good. I really like the idea of it. I like promos that have got a bit of story behind them, and obviously it's all story-based in terms of why the players are in the team. But what's your sort of, before we delve into the players and whatnot, the overall sort of opinion and first impressions when it got released?
Yeah, something along those lines as well, Rich. We haven't really got too many players in there that you would kind of instantly, think would be like the top tier cards in a promo. You think of those, those items that typically get released, the top tier gold cards that we see carbon copies of throughout the year. Haven't really seen too many of them in this one. There's quite a lot of players like Luka Modric. How many times do we actually see a good promo Luka Modric with Tiki Taka plus, 90 plus passing, dribbling, released into these kind of promos? So I kind of like that we're getting some alternative options now. Really good promo for past and present. I'm seeing a lot of these crop up in various teams. So yeah, I think it's been a nice switch up to the typical promo that we see.
Well, let's have a look into it, and we can see the promo. The story behind it was basically players who have overcome injury, overcome setbacks in their career through whatever way that can be. Obviously, some of them speak louder, and you recognise them, should I say, not speak, but you recognise them quicker than others. But also on the game itself, you can scroll over on the R1 tab where you see the playstyles and the stats, and you actually get a bit of a description on why every player is in the promo through their own story. Ollie, first sort of take on this. Any of these players that you really like the look of?
Obviously, I'm a Manchester United fan, so I love to see Eriksen in that midfield. I mean, I actually played a weekly with him as well, and I found him pretty decent. And I'm really, really happy to see him in there. Same thing with like Luka Modric. I thought he was really, really good when I tried him out as well. Very, very good card overall. So, I mean, you have a few players in there, as you said, and I think it's quite an underrated promo also. So, yeah, personally, I like it.
I actually think this Bunny Shaw's got potential. I mean, she got was it a Team of the Year item last year?
Yeah.
She's had a couple of informs this year already, and the pace boost on this Bunny Shaw and the playstyle plus change to finesse. I think there's obviously she's not going to be super meta, but if you do manage to pack her through rewards or through any other means, definitely give her a go. I mean, she possesses a lot of good attributes: quick step, low driven, enforcer. If you're good at using enforcer, we've got the old. You talked about sort of the past and present. We've got a promo item of Salah and a promo item of Sadio Mane in the same team. We've got Saka in there as well. This Santi Cazorla that everybody got for doing the objective, the timed loan, which I actually used a little bit, and I have to say, very, very fun to use. I think he had all the playstyle pluses other than whipped pass. Really enjoyable item. I can see you nodding your head there, Ollie. Did you get a hands on Santi Cazorla as well?
I did, and I was actually playing this cup called, I think, the Unbreakable League to get a few objectives for EVOs, and I was also playing with him, of course, and I found him really, really exciting to play with. I thought, as you said, he was really good. Passing was fantastic, by the way, and overall, he was also pretty good going forward, I think. 83 shooting on his item was really, really nice, so yeah, I kind of liked him 100%.
Anyone in this sort of in this promo that might have snuck under the radar a little bit, Matt? In terms of, we often give a recommendation here and there.
I would have to go back to Luka Modric. I think
Okay.
He's one that I've played against a few times now, and yeah, he's been one that's really caused me some problems. So yeah, Tiki Taka plus, incisive, long, low driven as well, technical, quick step. There's some really good playstyles in there. Obviously, might be tricky to link into teams with the Croatian and Serie A link. So yeah, that could be the only thing. But you know, we've got all of these different Evo cosmetics and consumables that you can, you know, update that to a world tour or something like that to get some chemistry on him. So yeah, he's been one that's definitely caused me some problems. And a little nod to the FUTBIN rating, he's coming in as the number 10 top playmaker currently for an attacking midfielder. So yeah, just
to highlight a couple more players here down on the bench, we got a promo item, Camavinga, which is coming in 250k-ish as of recording. Crazy sort of stats across the board, and I think being 87 rated, there's Evo potential there down the line. I think definitely we're moving up to an 86 cap, I would imagine, very soon. So I wouldn't be too surprised that this Camavinga, he's also only got 5 playstyles, which sort of mean when we do get the playstyle cap, usually it's coming in about 6 or 7 playstyles max. He might be able to sneak into an Evo here or there. The Luis Diaz item as well. I know we've had a couple of Luis Diaz items already this year, but again, I think it's if you pack him or you're looking at getting buy-in players in there, or you completed the new player of the month for Elise. On the other side, this Diaz, good chemistry coming in. And then the final player that I actually really like the look of is this Trincao. The main reason being, I really like players that can play multiple positions. And I think down the line, having someone who can play almost everywhere across the front four, with the playstyles he's got, finesse, ticky, trickster, I mean, it's not as good as it was last year, but it's still a worthwhile playstyle to have, and gold incisive. I think this has got potential down the line. So there's a couple of my recommendations if you are looking for a player here or there. But there's loads of players, 20k and under, in this promo. If you want some creativity in your team before Winter Wildcards does start, loads of players to have a try at. Absolutely. Let's move on to the thing that always, should we say, causes a little, not controversy, but it's always the thing where you expect big players in the team, you expect high-rated players in the team, the icons and heroes that came with the promo. I actually think this is the best selection of icon and heroes in a promo we've had this year, because nearly all of them are somewhat affordable. First impressions when you look at it, Matt, obviously we saw the most expensive player being Vidic, but everybody else is pretty much 600k and under.
Yeah, and I think, as you say, this is what you're definitely looking for. We're probably throughout Winter Wildcards and Team of the Year, we're going to start seeing those top tier icons starting to get those promo items. So it does feel like it was an opportunity for some of those cards that haven't yet got a promo item, give them a slightly bigger boost to get them up in the power curve, but still make them affordable. And I think that's what we see. Things like that. That Zanetti as a centre mid with Tiki Taka Plus for 440k. That's very, very affordable for a 91 rated icon with those kind of stats. Definitely look good.
Again, what do we always talk about? What do I always talk about? Sorry, the flexibility. He can play right back or left back. Yep. Barely anyone can do that in the game. So, any of these, Ollie? I mean, probably not pro-wise, but any worth having a look at? I know Vidic was, if there was no restrictions, I think, and coins weren't really a factor, probably worth looking at with Intercept Plus as well.
No, for sure. I actually tried out that Pires in Weekend League on my Road to Glory account, and I found him really, really good. Obviously quite quick, as we spoke about before, Finesse Shot Gold. And overall, like a decent player. Could be a bit clunky here and there for playing as a left mid, I think. But overall, for 170,000 coins, I think it's a very, very good left midfielder that guys should definitely try out in Rivals or like whatever and see how he is, because I found him quite enjoyable to play with, actually.
And maybe for the first time ever, a usable Alan Shearer. Obviously, a lot of Newcastle fans out there, a lot of just football fans in general like Alan Shearer. He's finally got a usable item, Matt, or is it usable?
I think it definitely is. I mean, you look at the playstyles right there, low driven plus. Yes, there is a question mark of would that be better if it was switched out with finesse in the current meta? But again, it's still very, very usable. No finesse base, which is a little bit frustrating perhaps, but still, incisive, technical, quick step, enforcer in there if you do want to still sort of play that way. But yeah, it feels a bit strange, isn't it? So we're sat here looking at an Alan Shearer card that's over 500,000 coins. It's been quite a few years since we've been able to say that.
I mean, you can see as well, target forward, not the most used player role, but he's third on the FUTBIN rating for target forward. And you can also see as well what the best chemistry style is. They're on the right-hand side for the best boost in stats for that particular role. But I like it. I think this is the sort of promo that a lot of people often say, the promos are too top-heavy. There's too many good players in them. You're getting all the same players all the time. There's no excuses for this one. It's a very, very fresh idea. Loads of new players. And as well as the promo that we did get, we also got a surprise. And it's Christmas. We all love surprises. The Classic 11 Heroes. This, to my knowledge, wasn't leaked. I didn't see anything really talking about this. You basically logged into Ultimate Team and you got a player pick, I think it was, or a pack. And and you got one of these heroes. But who did we all get, by the way? Matt?
Ollie, I'll let you start.
Okay.
So on my main account, I managed to get Guti, which I think is kind of a dub, I would say.
Yeah.
And on my road to glory, I managed to get Gomez, so that was a bit more of a worse one, I think. But yeah, Guti and Gomez, I wouldn't complain too much.
Matt?
Yeah, I can click the Mario Gomez button. He was. To be fair, I didn't know about the pack either. I logged on Friday 6 p.m. and just thought there's another pack in the store. So okay, fair enough. See a walkout, not knowing what it is, think okay, and then you see Mario Gomez. Yeah.
What?
Not knowing the other players, he actually looked half decent. I looked on FUTBIN afterwards. I was like, there's probably some better options that you'd want.
So I had the exact same opinion that you had when I packed mine, and I thought, ooh, that looks all right. Have a guess who you think I got from that reaction.
Ooh, Pappin?
Yeah, Pappin. I would say Pappin.
Correct. And I packed him, and I thought, oh, loads of a plus, decent shooting, okay pace. And then I realised that I could have got Zé Roberto or Company or Marquisio or really anyone else in the promo for that matter of fact. But something for everyone, I think, is obviously we always enjoy it. Last year we got the was it last year? I think it was the Ballon d'Or items that came into the game. It feels like we've toned that down a lot this year, but there was a big marketing campaign I saw on social media for the classic teams going into the game. So classic Serie A, classic Premier League, etc., etc. I didn't know when we got this if we were going to get one for every league, and we get 11 icons or heroes in this particular sort of formatted item design, and we're going to get that for every league. It seems like it was just a one-stop, a one and done, but if you can get one of the better players in this, Matt, obviously it's all luck, but if you manage to get Vincent Kompany or Zé Roberto or Marquisio or even Diego Forlan, it's improving someone's team.
Yeah, definitely. I actually saw quite a few of these. I saw a few Gutties, a few Matuidis in there. Have played a few people that are rocking Forlan and Viali still. So, yes, they're not top tier. There's still probably better players in those positions. But again, for a lot of the player base, these are improving teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And we didn't have to do anything for it. So it's even better if it's free. That's the old adage, isn't it? Let's move on to a very special edition. This is the part of the show where we talk about SBCs and we talk about the content that's been in the game over the last 7 days. And we do that, Ollie, if you've not seen this before, in a little game called Hot or Not. And it's very simple. I say a player to you, and you just tell me that SBC, are they hot or are they not? Were they worth completing or were they not?
Okay.
Let's start.
Okay.
Player of the month, Jamie Vardy, coming in at just over 40,000 coins.
I mean, for the nostalgia, I would say hot. I mean, I like what he's doing in the Serie A as well, so yeah, I would say hot.
Unbreakable, Sebastian Haller, 25k.
Not, I would say, unfortunately.
Okay. Zinchenko, 18,000 coins.
Hot. I completed him on my road to glory as well, and I found him very, very good, actually. For only like 20,000 coins, you get one of the better left backs on the game, so he's good.
There you go. We'll have a deeper dive into that one afterwards. Unbreakable Clint Dempsey. A lot of unbreakable items here.
I've seen a few players play with him. I didn't have the time myself, but it's a bit of in between, but I would still say hot. I think he looks quite decent, to be honest, and it's definitely a card I really want to try out. So I would say hot.
And finally, the base icon matchday pick, Garrincha or Kenny Dalglish, 570,000 coins.
Not. Then I would much rather just say my fodder for doing Player of the Month Pina.
There you go. Player of the Month. If in doubt, complete Pina. Thank you for the hot or not. Matt, general sort of week of SBCs and content? I think it's been quite promo dominated across the board. What's your sort of take on it?
Yeah, I think the real standout, and we'll probably get onto it, is that Zinchenko. When that was released, I was actually quite shocked at the price. I was expecting it to be easily sort of 5-6 times what they're asking. 17,000 coins for someone that can play CDM, incisive, jockey, intercept, pinged, potential for EVOs in the future when we get that lift up to an 87. Yeah, not bad at all.
I mean, if you're playing any of the roles that he can play, he's not only the CDM, he's the 12th best deep line playmaker on the game. He's the 8th best attacking wingback on Plus. He's the 4th best wide half. He's the number 2 false back and the number 1 inverted wingback from left back. I saw the price of it, and it's very similar when I first saw it. I thought, oh, that's an error. That's going to get re-released. Is it... Do you think and we talked about this earlier, the story, they just wanted people to complete this SBC. They want people to be playing with Zinchenko. Obviously, we talk about Ultimate Team and FC, so we're not going to get into the geopolitical landscape. However, part of me thinks they wanted people to use this Zinchenko. Let's do it super cheap and convince everyone to use this, Ollie.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, when I played with him, I mean, as Matt touched on, his playstyles are incredible, I think. Both for a fullback, but also for a center midfielder. I think one thing that's actually is a bit underrated with this card is actually the pinged pass. I like pinged pass a lot from the wingbacks this year to be able to build up with, as the R1 pass is obviously traveling at a higher pace, speed, and more like accuracy. So I like his card a lot. And I mean, if we compare this 87 rated to his 77 rated, it's quite a big boost, right? So yeah, he's, as I said, he was really, really good. And only for, I believe, an 85 rated squad that I think most of you guys that are watching this episode should have. I mean, in terms of fodder, I would say he's like a must complete, 100%.
Yeah, I just think we're going to see this Zinchenko. Left back's been a position that has been somewhat dominated, I think, this cycle so far. We had, obviously, the early ones with Nuno Mendes, Theo Hernandez, the EVOs then that people have done. But then I still play a lot of Jordi Alba, the SBC that came out. I think this is now the next player along, I think, for the price, for the links, Premier League. I mean, also, we got Murillo, right? So if you using that Murillo, you then put Zinchenko next to him, you get the chemistry off the Nottingham Forest players. It just seems like this is the left back now, Matt, for a while. Unless you pack something special from Winter Wildcards, there's no reason to swap this out.
Yeah, I think I'm just curious. Are people looking at this as a left back predominantly, or would you? Because I'm looking at this, I think I'm probably more likely to use him in DM with the incisive.
I would go left back personally,
yeah,
just because of the jockey and intercept. What about you, Ollie? And Bruce?
Yeah, I think I would also go left back. I think Bruiser is personally, in my opinion, the best playstyle for fullbacks this year. And I think playstyle that he unfortunately doesn't have is tiki-taka, and I think that's quite important for midfielders this year. But of course, I think he would do a good job as a DM, but I would prefer him as a left back, I think.
Yeah, there you go. Was there anything else, Matt, sort of SBC wise or live content that you saw that you wanted to jump into? The grind seems to have slowed down ever so slightly with obviously. I think we've still got the 85 by 8 to 87 upgrades in the back of the SBCs.
Good to note that we're still getting I think 2 85 doubles per day. For just an 82 rated squad and our team of the week, which again, if you are like me and you're doing the team of the year pack saves, I know there's some card designs doing the rounds on social, so team of the year isn't too far away now. Obviously, very, very nice. But yeah, in terms of a menu grind right now, we're lacking a little bit, I think it's fair to say. Obviously, people still need to make sure they're doing their daily bronze, silver, gold upgrades that we're getting. They're very, very useful if you are still completing the league SBCs. Yeah, it feels like very much still a gameplay heavy grind. Obviously, we had the Unbreakables League, the Ultimate Gauntlet 6, both of which giving very, very good packs. We're talking 86 doubles, 86 triples, 83 10s, 84 by 5s, all that sort of stuff in them. So, yeah, I imagine as well with some Winter Wildcards themed gameplay content, which we'll get onto, it will be some very, very good packs available in objectives.
I want to talk about Gauntlet because you just brought it up there. It was about 3 months ago to the day, roughly. Maybe 4 months ago, I was over in Riyadh and we filmed a podcast with me, you, Matt, and Nep. And Gauntlet had just been announced. And we were talking about Gauntlet and we were sort of saying, this looks really good. This looks like another mode to really jump into. I know it seems to have been quite positively received from the community. And I also see now with the rewards that are available in Gauntlet, people are playing Gauntlet rather than playing Champs. Like they would rather do a Gauntlet run instead of playing FUT Champs. And the rewards almost... It's much easier to play Gauntlet, I would say that, than playing Champs. It almost feels like, Matt, the Gauntlet grind, shall I say, feels more beneficial than actually jumping into Champs and playing.
Yes, I think I would preface that with a little bit because we have done a little bit of research actually here at FUTBIN as to what modes people are playing, and Gauntlet actually falls a lot lower than Champs, a lot lower than Rivals, a lot lower even than Squad Battles.
Really?
For some of our community. So I think from our sort of very, very hardcore sort of lens, we would say, right, rewards are amazing. Everyone go play Gauntlet. But I think a lot of the community, I would potentially argue, there might be that slight barrier of having 3 good squads to actually win Gauntlet. Are they having to increase those rewards a lot to get people actually making that second and third team?
Well, that's what I'm going to say. Why do you think it is? Why do you think people aren't playing Gauntlet?
I think there is still that barrier for a lot of the community. Obviously, any sort of content creator, people like us, we have 3 teams easily because we're doing all the content anyway.
Yeah.
But you're more sort of casual player that maybe they started the game, in those first sort of 2-3 weeks, and they've had a bit of a break and now they're coming back. Have they got 3 teams of quality to be able to go and get a perfect Gauntlet run? Probably not. Have they got even 3 teams to play those? Yeah, exactly, to play those rounds. So I think that could be one of the reasons why we haven't seen an increase in the amount of games per Gauntlet, and we're sticking at 3. But also potentially why we're not seeing Gauntlet be the premium sort of live event mode, and maybe why we're still getting the Silver League, Unbreakables League, all these different kinds of live events.
I also think this sounds very... It sounds crazy, what I'm about to say. So just preface this. But the Ultimate Gauntlet sounds daunting. If you don't have a clue what the mode is. It almost feels like, oh, that sounds difficult. I'm not going to play that. Like, if you've never touched Gauntlet before, and you go in there and you go, I've only got 1 game with this team, and I have to win. I think that does put people... I think people will be like, oh, I don't know if I want to play that. Obviously, you stream a lot, Ollie. You make a lot of content. From your sort of... We've seen the data. Do you think people, when they come in the stream, are they talking about Gauntlet, or is it still what's your Champs record, what's your Rivals record?
I mean, I think it's mostly going to be around Champs, even though I would love for them to increase the rewards in Champs, because I think it should be better than what it is. The good thing I like about the Gauntlet is that recently they've been adding EVOs and stuff, and I think EVOs is actually one of... I don't know how really to explain it, but I think it's one of the most exciting things we have this year. I think EVOs are really, really good, and I think a lot of them are even ahead of the power curve. You know, that's why I think we see in general like a lot of EVOs in like pro teams as well, because you can actually kind of build your own EVO with what playstyles you want on that card. You can, you know, boost up their stats, but then you obviously need to do well in the Gauntlet, the Silver League, in these kind of tournaments to get these kind of EVOs, right? So me personally, I'm quite of a fan of the Gauntlet, but then as you said before, Richard, if I would have heard, do I rather play Gauntlet or do I rather play FUT Champs? I would probably go into play FUT Champs, right? Because Gauntlet, as you said, sounds very, very hard, very, very sweaty, right? And most of us just want to have a chill time, right, playing. So yeah, I mean, me personally, I like it, but yeah, it's mainly for the EVOs. It's not really too much for the packs. I would say it's mainly for the EVOs.
I know we're going to get on to, you know, the change in packs potentially. I did want to touch on EVOs because we've seen them,
absolutely,
you know, now released via the season pass with, you know, the Perfectionist EVO being that first one that gives us that boost. Do we think we could ever see a world in which EVOs are included in Champs rewards and Rivals rewards? Because we're seeing them in the tournaments. Do we see it where you get an elite specific EVO that gives stat boosts? Do you think that's too much?
I think there's more chance of it going into a 500k pack.
Yeah.
you open this pack, you get a guaranteed finesse shot or low driven plus play style.
Oh, we've seen it already, haven't we? You know, with the big fella, I think it was. That was a re-released EVO that they put into packs. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, because how do you... I think they've tried like valuing EVOs. We saw the SBC, right?
Intercept.
We've seen a couple of EVOs. A couple of EVOs as SBCs, and it always feels like, how do you value an in-game item and an in-game stat? Because it's all. They also then EA decide how much something's worth. Absolutely, because say Precision Header got buffed massively. Then precision, everyone starts crossing, and then Precision Header would the graph would go like this.
Yeah.
It then becomes the most expensive attribute almost on the game. So I think it is difficult to value in-game stats. Everyone's got their sort of idea of what is most important to a player and what makes up the best thing for the player, but it's also all subjective. If you ask Olilito and Anders and Emre Yilmaz and Tex, they would all have a similar but slightly different opinion on the game and what is the most important attribute and stat to a player. Like, there's a general consensus that Bruiser at fullback is elite and you need tiki-taka, but Anders technical dribbles a lot in the final third. Some players don't technical dribble. Some players like to go direct from a corner and they'll hit the back post. So you're probably looking at maybe Precision Header on a centre back or Aerial Fortress if you're defending that and you're playing against someone who is crossing the ball into the back post from corners and player locking down. So I think it's difficult. I think it is difficult, and I think that would be last case, almost last resort for them to put it in Champs rewards. But I think it would get people playing Champs who haven't previously really maybe fell out of love with it. If you put what's the best playstyle on the game? Probably Finesse right now. If you put a Finesse shot playstyle at rank 10 wins, and said, if you get to 10 wins, as well as the packs that we're going to give you, we're going to give you a Finesse shot plus playstyle to go on any player 88 rated and below. That brings people out. Absolutely brings people out. So it's interesting, isn't it? It's very interesting. Let's move on to this pack because I wanted to talk about it. We got a stall pack that came out. It was, I believe, 150,000 coins. And you got to pick, you got a 1 of 10 pick for an icon or a hero. And the icon or hero was given to you what you were going to get before the pack opened. So the icon and heroes were Salgado, Angara, the goalkeeper, Abedi Pele, Baresi, Paulo Futre, Pirlo, Van Persie, Lizarazu, Jones, Okocha, and Beckham. You got to pick one of those. This, to my knowledge, is the first ever time they've done something like this, where you're seeing exactly what you're getting before you've even opened the pack. A lot of people say it's an IQ test. If you open this pack, you don't open this pack. Basically, was the consensus across the community. However, I read a little bit deeper into this, and this feels like the closest thing we've seen so far of EA saying what you just buy the item that you want off the game. Do you think it's a tester, Matt?
Yes and no. We've always, like, every single year there are rumors like, what are EA going to do with the transfer market? You know, people are saying, like, could we be shifting to a world in which EA just set the value of players and then you just buy them off of off EA? I don't think this is going to be something that we see a lot of in the short term. I think this is very much just a bit of a tester. What was the price again, Rich? It was 150,000 coins.
150,000 coins. I'm sure producer Dan on the back end can find out very quickly. I think it was 150,000 coins and 1,500 FC points.
Okay,
I think
because you got to look at this, right? If you're a player again that hasn't played in a while, just getting the game now, maybe gets it for Christmas. I don't know if this will probably won't still be out at Christmas, but maybe we'll have another sort of variation of this. 1,500 FC points is what, about 10 to 15 pounds?
13, 14 pounds, yeah.
Something like that. If you're saying to someone for 10 to 15 pounds, you can get a guaranteed icon like Pirlo. Yeah. Probably going to be something that a lot of people go for. Again, I'll say it like this. For us guys that are coming through this from the hardcore lens, we look at that and think, absolutely not IQ test. From a lot of the casual player base that maybe haven't played or are just getting on the game for the first time, they'd look at that compared to previously, 10, 15 pounds gets you 10 7.5k packs. You're not getting an icon from that.
So it was 150k coins or 1,000 FC points.
I mean,
so it was about £9.
Yeah.
Ollie, if you're a brand new player to the game, if you put yourself in a brand new player, but with the knowledge of a pro player and someone who's played the game for a long time,
yeah.
If you were to do this pack, is Pirlo just the guaranteed pick out of the players available here? I know Paulo Futre potentially. Yeah. Like, where are you sort of on this?
That was exactly what I thought. I mean, I would either go for Pirlo or Paulo Futre because it wasn't Beckham's Thunderstruck icon, right? It was his normal, I guess.
It's just his normal icon, yeah.
Yeah. So I would probably go for Futre or Pirlo there. Even though if I actually had like 1,000 FIFA points or 150k, starting with as like just a casual, and if I had like the knowledge that I have as a pro, I wouldn't really do the pack, of course, because I think you can get, quality items now for like 20 to 30,000 coins, as we just touched on with like the new Unbreakable team and stuff. But for the excitement, and I think that's why a lot of people play the game as well. I think it's actually value for money. To be honest, just getting that excitement, getting an icon, getting a hero, right? Yeah. So, yeah.
Beckham is 175k right now on the market. I was just having a quick look. I believe he is the most expensive available that you could have got. JJ Kocher is 140k, and Pirlo's just over 150k. We've seen a slight change in icon SBCs and these like icon picks and hero picks that have slowly ramped up throughout the game cycle so far. Is there a world in which we see this pack repeated for promos, Matt? But like we leave the top edge of promos off, but for 500, and is there a world in which we randomize this as well? That you guaranteed 10 players from Team of the Year. You're going to get 10 Team of the Year items. And there's honourable mentions in there as well. You get to pick one. You could end up getting Mbappe, or the best player you might get out of it is, I don't know, Hampton, the goalkeeper, the women's goalkeeper. It feels like, I don't know, it's strange to have just dropped this completely out of the blue on a random Saturday. It feels like a tester to me. And I can see this coming again and again throughout the year.
Yeah, if you're listening to the pod, you're more than welcome to take some of these ideas. But I wouldn't be surprised, if we start seeing something like you say, Rich, where it's like a rare type guarantee player pick. So maybe they give you, a pool of these 10, you only get 5. Potentially. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that. We've already had the EVOs added into packs. We've now got, this angle with, guaranteed pick. I wouldn't be shocked to see some more innovations in the store.
I mean, I'm paying $1 million coins for a Team of the Year player pick. I'll just say it. Like, if I've got a chance at getting one of those big value Team of the Year items, if it's all the women's and all the men's Team of the Year together, so that's 22 players that you can pick from, and it's 1 of 5, I'm opening that. I'm taking the risk because I might get a Team of the Year player that's like going to be endgame. Like, I'm taking that risk, and I think a lot of people would. And if you value that correctly, I think that would be probably one of the most open packs of all time.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very, very difficult. I can understand why I've done it from like Icons and Heroes, because these cards have been out since the release of the game.
Yeah.
Anything that is released like that. So say we were to get that Team of the Year player pick released during Team of the Year, the market implications of that would be horrible. You'll have that guy that's just bought Team of the Year Mbappe for 15 million coins. This player pick gets released. Suddenly he drops 5 million coins. He's 10 mil. There will be that level for cards that are still readily available and have been recently released. So I think if this is going to be a concept that sticks, it's going to be for
previous.
I think previous. Yeah, it'll be for Icons and Heroes to start. Maybe for previous promo items. Starting back from sort of October and early November, I don't think we would see it integrated into a promo with those impact items just yet.
I mean, the big thing that was different about this compared to everything else is it told you what you're getting before you opened it.
Yeah.
So let's wait and see, and we'll see how this sort of transpires. Before we wrap up today's episode, let's look ahead to Winter Wildcards. It's one of the highlights of every season in FC. Previously FUTBIN, where we got SBCs every day. Now renamed Winter Wildcards. In previous years, we've had a select amount of players that have had 2 different variants of item. Haaland last year, we got the centre-back and then the striker. The centre-back became the best centre-back on the game for about 4 months. We usually have different variants of icon as well in the promo. I think this year it's going to follow a very similar suit. The big question that I want to ask you is, do we see 2 playstyle pluses on Winter Wildcards? It seems like they've sort of held that back for the majority throughout this season, but do we now see 2 playstyle pluses? Ollie, I'll come to you first.
I personally still think they will stick with 1, and then I think for the Team of the Year they will probably add 2. That's what I think, to be honest.
Matt?
I think we go for 2, not for every item. That's not going to happen. We still see it in the current promos where you get some cards without. Maybe not for Unbreakables, but I know for some of the more recent ones they have done that. I think they have it where every Winter Wildcard is guaranteed 1 playstyle plus. Top end cards get 2. I think that then opens it up maybe for Team of the Year where everyone's guaranteed 2 and the top end cards have 3.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. While we are looking ahead to Winter Wildcards, I want to have a quick thought on the SBCs. It feels like we always get good SBCs over Winter Wildcards. Do you think we will get a big ticket SBC again this year? I'm trying to think back who it was last year. I feel like there was a big ticket SBC that did come out. I'm just scrolling back. I think Pedro Porro came out as an SBC, if I remember correctly, that was quite wildly completed. Was it? It wasn't Rolfo, was it? Rolfo was in the promo, but not as an SBC.
I can't remember. That might be a producer Dan job.
But I think we will get very good items across the board. Seeing as though it is Christmas, Ollie, what's one player that you wish to see as an SBC in the Winter Wildcard promo? Who's someone that you want to... you wish that was in the promo? Not as a packable player, but as an SBC that you can complete.
Claudia, nah, I'm kidding. I think a player that I would love to see as an SBC in Winter Wildcard would actually be Tijani Reinders. I like him a lot this year. He is one of my favorite center midfielders in this whole game. If he actually maybe might be my favorite. And I would love to see like a Winter Wildcard 88 to 89 rated Reinders. Obviously, he would be super expensive. But him I would love to see. And I'm actually going to throw out Nico Williams as well. A card that I think a lot of players been playing with at the start. Especially his goal item, I still think, is very, very good. So I would love to see these two, personally.
So I do have a little bit of intel for you. I don't know if you remember this. I'll share the screen very quickly. This was FC24. So this wasn't FC25. This was FC24. Remember this?
Oh God, yes.
Oh yes.
I knew there was a big ticket SBC that came out. I got my years mixed up, but this was FC24. And if you are listening or not watching, it was Ruud Gullit, 89 rated SBC that came out that year. And it was valued at over 2.5 million coins. I don't think we're going to get an icon SBC like this, Matt. But do you know what? I can see him. I can see we've just got Garincha and Dalglish. I could see a really, really big icon going into one of those icon player picks.
Yeah, I think so. I was just looking back at what we had released last year. And the icons, I believe, we were looking at Makalele,
Yep,
Shevchenko, Pires, all with one playstyle, all under 90 rated. So, yeah, those are kind of the icons that we're looking at that point. Potentially, we might see something a little bit higher than that. I think there was actually a Socrates as well with Power Shot Plus. So, yeah, we'll wait and see. In terms of the icon squad, I remember last year, was it Carlos Alberto?
yes.
He had a couple of
Right back or centre back, I think.
Yeah,
it was.
he had a couple of really nice items. So I think we will see. This will definitely, when we talk about power curve shift, this is that next jump. We had that sort of Black Friday period where we saw a big jump in Thunderstruck. I think, we're going to see a lot of top end heavy cards. Definitely. Don't know if we'll get that many like we've had this promo around that sort of 200 to 500k. It feels like we're going. Yeah, it's going to be a step up with those. Whoever gets 2 playstyle pluses, they're going to be pricey.
Yeah, the power curve might be changing, so make sure you keep tuned to FUTBIN. We'll be guiding you through the festive period, both with content and also on the website as well. Everything Ultimate Team will be coming your way. Ollie, thank you very, very much for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure. Where can people find more of your content if they want to see you over the FC26 season?
Thank you so much, first of all, as well. It was an absolute pleasure being here. I stream almost every day on Twitch. My name there is Olelito_, and then I also post YouTube videos on a daily basis where my name is Olelito as well on YouTube, and also the same with Instagram. Basically, Olelito wherever. So, yeah.
There you go. Thank you very much for joining us. If you have a loved one, by the way, that really likes Ultimate Team, and I'll get the plug in before we end. Ultimate Team, FUTBIN, why don't you head on over, get some merch for Christmas, and treat that person you love in your life to some FUTBIN merch. I'm sure there'll be a description somewhere in the video down below. Thank you very much for joining us. Matt will be back next week for a very special Christmas edition of the FUTBIN podcast. I'm hearing Quiz is on the line, so we have been teammates for 19 weeks. We'll be enemies for 1 week and 1 week only.
Get your Christmas hat out, Rich.
I will try and find one. But thank you very much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. Good luck in Winter Wildcards this upcoming weekend. Hope you have the very best of luck, and we'll see you next week for another edition of the FUTBIN Pod.